So, VOD review of Neo's VOD review time.
Going over, as I said yesterday, the poke. Sorry, this is like one of many attempts because my computer's been not very happy with me, and
Holy
I've been
shit, it
dumb.
is like a slideshow.
So since I've already done this before, I'm kind of gonna like. Obviously, I'm not starting from necessarily the beginning. My first video was a little long for my liking, so I am just gonna cover some things. First off, oh, I do not like the angle I've taken here. Let's go up a little bit. Okay, I like this a little more. Sorry, I'm really weird. Okay, anyways, let's start getting into this. So, as we can see, they're playing Rush. We kind of forced them into it, but they're playing Reaper Rush. So, we're playing Poke. This Reaper, if he wants any value, has to actually come to us, unlike the rest of their team, which is kind of sitting over here. Now, they do have the Lucio for speed, which will be a problem. But so right here, Uh, everyone's pretty healthy for now, except Willie. But I mean, he's still healthy. Um, as I said, I've done this before. So if we hit play here, so Zenio starts getting pressured here. Remember, they have this LOS besides like here. So just keep that in mind. There's a reason why I'm trying to play here now. If because I will need to go back. At that point where I was pointing out Willie and Semblance. Okay, so at this point, it's actually before this. This is a pain. Okay, at this point, I'm rotating here. Semblance needs to be playing either here or here. I'd prefer him playing here with our other support.
Yeah, someone's here. Neo's right. Um, he needs to play here, because if Neos goes here, we will rotate around. You can't see it on the screen, but we rotate around back underneath, and then we'll be out of LOS their whole time. I just skipped ahead. Oops. I think. No?
Before this is a pain. Okay, here with our other
Yeah.
support. For a reason that we're about to see, Uh, if I hit play here, their Reaper's going to take this high ground. We've already seen a little bit of this. There he goes. So right here, I'm rotating. When I rotate, and yes, MCATS is one, so I don't mind our supports peeking out a little to keep him healthy. But once he is like, either if you can get him to full or like near full, I'd love it if both of my supports rotate back into this room to play here.
And you see, I'm pretty 99% sure I do that. Um, because I was originally gonna go back because you see up here where my cursor is, they have big LOS here. So Neo's going up there. I'm sure he has throwing a shield up there to block. But I think bro, I keep fucking hitting the wrong thing.
If both of my
Yeah,
supports
I'm pretty sure I run back
rotate back
because
into
I
this
go
room
help
to
Zinio.
play here, where the rest of us are going to play. Willie does this, and then there was either a miscommunication. I don't know what happened, but Semblance did not. Um, yeah, this is a no-no. It'll be shown later why. This is one hell of a no-no. You are walking into their line of sight, so you have all four of them can just look at you. Now, our Bastion's also going to get saved here by Willie, which also saves Semblance. Uh,
That's true.
Semblance
That
should
was a
be
two for.
dead here, but
That's true. That was a 2 for 1 lamp. I was saving Neo, but
he gets saved
fortunately I
due
was
to
able to save Smoke too.
window and lives. So that is one thing where I'm like, remember, if we're playing poke, especially if we're playing Zen, this isn't just a hit. Like, this is more of a thing on whoever is playing Zen. You need to try and stay out of their LOS in that regard. You want to play your corners. Walking in front of them when you don't have any support, really not a good idea. We killed the Reaper because he had to int to get any sort of value. Let's continue this. I'm going to speed this up a little because we just end up pressuring him back. We played this really well. We didn't push. Okay, so at this point, we're pushing back, which is obviously good. Uh, hmm.
That's what
Oh
I was
my
talking
god,
about.
I'm inting. Okay.
I don't know if he's gonna recognize it, but Semblance instead of playing right side with their whole team, he's playing left side up top here, and their Sojourn takes an off angle and gets the freest picker for life on him. So he needs to learn there to play. I don't know if Neil mentioned that. I just want to
I
mention
need to
that
go
to him.
back. So, sorry, as I said, I'm haven't done this in a while. So, here, this is what I wanted to point out. We've already made the call that they are on Sojourn. This angle semblance you're taking, right now there's nobody here, so there's no point in taking that angle. I would just rotate back behind where our team is. The problem is, by the time you realize that, this Sojourn rotates on an offense. See, like, you started doing it, which is good, but you could have taken a tighter circle that probably would have saved you here. As MCats has been saying, I think it was yesterday in his little slideshow, is you want to hug walls, and you want to hug walls as tight as you can for this exact reason we're about to see. The Sojourn. You also went back out here. There's no one here. There's no reason to need to swing back out. Honestly, if you just continued, you would have lived what's about to happen, even if you didn't hug the wall tight. But their Sojourn's going to flank and kill you. By the time Willie can flip around to look at you, you're dead already. This means our team, our DPS are already doing a good job of holding here. I am holding space, but I have the ability to back up even if they're on the Lucio speed boost, as you're about to see. Um, Once that happens, immediately we're backing up to that point because when we lose our Zen, we need to completely regroup or back out.
And I don't know if I do this, but I think I might go around edge here and die, or I rotate late over here.
This could have been winnable, potentially. Although what ends up happening at this point is Willie, you need to just go in here, with your DPS. I am already on my way. I have a shield up. I'm not gonna get. There's nothing that can one shot me. Um, I'm already backing up as we speak. I'm actually like mid doing a 180. Um, so let's see what happens. I back up. We're calling to back up into this room. Our BAP doesn't follow. Now our BAP is isolated. Their Lucio is amping right now. In about 2 seconds, actually, in about 1 second, he's going to realize that our BAP is isolated and they're going to pincer him exactly like this. That would have been a good lamp if you were closer. The problem is you weren't. They were able to boop you out of it and get a kill on you. Your team can't really help with that. Um, Nothing else is really important here. I tried to back you, like I tried to get us backed up in time. Didn't work out. Uh,
And what I thought we were gonna do, instead of backing all the way
the
up there,
fact that they didn't check semblance here.
I'm gonna rewind it.
Really help with that
I go late because
now.
I originally thought
In
that
about
we
two,
would try and rotate back behind this pillar because they're gonna use amp. We have our own bastion. I'm pretty sure he's in turret mode right now. We haven't used turret mode yet, and I'm thinking that we're gonna hug this wall, but I don't. I must not have heard the comm. I don't think it was a clear comm of back to this room. Ideally, in this situation, I would instead of full backing up, you give them point for free. They have a Lucio. They will outrun us. I'd like to stay here, wait for the Bastion turret, and then we could re-engage because we know the Sojourn's on an off angle. So right here, there's only three of them here. This is a 3v4 right here. We easily could hold right here, back where I'm playing, and we probably win the fight against them with between Zinio having turret form and MCATs again. Because again, this is a 3v4. So that's just, I guess, miscommunication on our team's part or misread of the situation. Um, yeah.
2 seconds, actually, in about 1 second of
And
it,
yeah, the fact that
and
Semblance lives here is insane. Um, up ahead is insane. Because also I still have lamp up at this point, so I'm thinking we could play here and we could brawl. Because their BAP is nowhere to be seen. Their BAP is off doing who knows what at that point.
the fact that they didn't check semblance here is absurd. Better players, and I'm not calling them bad. I'm just saying like if we were playing UW, people who have like top 500 grandmaster players, they would check this little corner, or I'd hope they'd check the corner because they saw you walking to the corner, but I don't know. Maybe they forgot. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna reposition here. I'm trying to go faster because my last one was really long and I wasn't very happy with it. Okay, right here. So right about here is where I start to notice some things, or not notice something. Semblance is good to come out now. I think he does. Um, okay, it took him a while. I don't. I That might have been a communication thing. I don't know. Um, but right here, okay. Semblance is coming around. That's fine. Um, there's no one to really pressure him. Now, remember, at this point, we know all five of them are here. We can see all five of them. I'm taking the angle. I can see all five of them now. Willie's keeping our DPS up, which is good. The reason I am swinging around at this angle is because I want to put pressure on this shield to force them out. So that way our DPS can just walk forward without worry of getting one shot, two tapped, or whatever. Let's see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, that pincer move works. Now, Semblance, you made a very good call going this way, seeming as they have a sojourn. Willie is about to make some really good decisions here too, which I'd like to highlight. So we don't, at this point, all we know is we can't see their sojourn, which this is something that we all need to work on, would just be our overall awareness. If we don't see the sojourn with their team, there's a high likelihood she's flanking with her mobility. Um, that ends up happening here. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So right here is where we notice, and Willie is about to actually have a perfect example of how effective just hugging a wall can be, because at this point, I can't really turn to help Willie. If I turn to help Willie, Ryan and his team can start walking on us and we'd be split. Now, what Willie does here is he hugs this wall, which means the Sojourn really can't do anything. The Sojourn ends up having to back up. That's fine. MCATS was in this position. I'd say if we are calling that there's someone flanking, you at least look at them, but we were also focused on whoever's out here. That
You can
is
see actually MCAT's right there. I'm pretty sure that orb is going over to the Sojourn because I call it, and I know MCATs I think turns around
That
and
there's someone
looks.
flanking, you at least look at them, but
So let's
we
see.
were also focused on
Oh, never mind. He's shooting it forward. Wait, no, it's going over there. Yeah, he shoots an orb over there,
whoever's out here.
which pressures her
That
up, which is good from
is
MCATs.
not like a huge big thing I want to go on now. This I do want to go on here. We have two options. We can push from this angle, or we can go around and push from this angle. Obviously, right now, we're pushing from this angle, which is fine. That's about to change, though. Uh, we've called that they have window. They pop window here. When they pop window here, our DPS do a very good job of dipping because my shield, as you can see, is already cracking. That's gonna burn. Semblance, you also need to back up. What ends up happening is I have to drop shield. You stay here pressuring angles. I don't know what you get hit by. You peek out more, which is like you were okay before, but now you are in LOS of them. I don't know what hit you, but something did and it dropped you to 1. Right there. Um that might have been the Sojourn flank. Either way, I would have preferred if you were playing with the rest of our team. So at this point, if they're gonna put a window here,
That's another thing. We have a very bad habit of peeking windows for no absolute reason. If someone windows and we call it OS, you just wait out the window. It only lasts like 8 seconds, and there's no need to peek it unless you're a tank and have like 1,000 HP and are like poking from far away. But other than that, if you're a squishy, no need to peek any sort of window whatsoever at any time. You just hide behind a wall, wait for it to go away, then you re-engage.
we're pushing this way because they won't get much value out of that window at all, and their window will be over by the time we get there. Let me speed this up a little bit. That's not fast enough. I'm way too ADHD. Okay, so right here. We did a good job moving. Again, we don't have a Lucio, so they're obviously going to be moving faster. Now, what I would suggest here is when Willie gets here, to try and get a window right here. That way, our DPS have not just like this line of sight, but they'd have a couple more angles. It's not great, but a window here would be preferable in my mind. I might be wrong. I'm not a bat player. But what we're going to
What's over there?
see is we're going to pop window here, which the problem with popping window here, and this is a communication thing, I'm just saying this so we could get better, is they're already backing out. We're popping window.
Oh, I know what
They're already
happens here.
giving us space before.
I they they begin to give us space, I'm pretty sure. But my window is actually supposed to go right here. It catches this little tiny corner here, and I don't know if I said it. I don't want to go back and check the VOD, but I'm like, I think I say something to myself. I'm like, bruh, or something like that, because I wanted my window to go, and I think I moved my mouse just a little bit to the left, and it catches a little corner here. And otherwise it was probably gonna be. I think I wanted it to be like right here, because we would have been able to walk forward and pressure them here. Instead, it's just there, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
The window is even deployed. What ends up happening through this is we don't use anything, or we can't get the same amount of picks. Now I'm using flux here because if I look, both of these supports aren't necessarily isolated, but they're near each other, which means I'm either gonna force out lamp or beat or both in a perfect world. Um, Now what happens is I flux it, I force both. There's the beat, there's the lamp. And yes, I do make mistakes in this too. Don't worry. I will point some of those out.
I want to say this. I'm the one that shoots the BAP to one shot. The fact that he does not die here is kind of crazy.
So at this point, that's bad. Another thing I'd like to mention is I know MCATs you're not a like DPS player by trait. Um, so okay, their Bastion's about to ult. Um, let me go here. This mainly goes for you three. You don't have movement abilities. Lamp is usually only going to save 1 or 2 shots of Bastion ult, and then Lamp gets hit, and Lamp's dead. What ends up happening is they're going to Bastion ult this entire area. What ends up happening is Zenio lives because Bastion turret mode reduction is kind of insane. MCAT's this slide, it's an aggressive slide. I understand why, because at the time their BAP is 1. You're trying to see if you can finish them off in time. This is like a hindsight 2020 situation. By the time you land, you get crunched. Semblance is also about to get crunched. As I said, Bastion damage.
That's not even. I'm gonna go. That's not even MCAT's fault. He slides before the target for the um Bastion ult is even established. I mean, yeah, you would ideally want to say slide for to get it, but if you see a BAP one, as he saw there, I'm sure he shot him too. He's got to slide and try and get that pick before beat goes off or before, especially before you get down for lamp. And he just happens to land in the landing
Damage
zone of.
reduction. Kind of insane that Zenio's not dead. Well, he will die at this point. And I think Willie and I have already started doing this. Yep, I'm still up in the air. I've just slammed them down. Is Willie and I are going to start backing up fast. I'm going to speed up here. Yep. It sucks. I couldn't get Willie out alive, and I ended up getting staggered later, which isn't fun or great at all. Okay. So now we're in the next fight. Let's see. What else do we have? We have Sojourn. We have Bast. We have Sojourn. We have Bast. We have Zen. Can't remember what we necessarily did here. Let's see. And yeah, I like using spectator overlay sometimes. I'm weird. Let's drop this down to 1. Let's see. Okay, so we're pushing up. Zenio is going for a flank. Okay, no, he's going for an ult. That's fine. This is what I wanted to note. So here's how I'd play this. Zenio, you end up going for 3 shots on their supports, which I agree with to a degree, because they don't have beat, which means they can't live it through beat. But there are other targets you could go for that could be more guaranteed, because the problem is they still have lamp and they still have amp. I know those rhyme, but they can get out of there. Their Sojourn is kind of sitting up here for free. I'd at least dedicate 1 shot to force her off the high ground. And on top of that, their Bastion here is alone. I'd take maybe 1 or 2 shots at this Bastion. What ends up happening is not either of those, which is fine. Obviously, Zenio's not like a Bastion player or anything. Is this. The problem I have with this is, A, the BAP's already out of here, and Lucio's amping. So we get Lucio to 1, but we can't do anything about that. And at this point, the one thing we have done is we have split their team to a massive extent. You have 3 playing back, and then you have Ryan and Sojourn. MCATS is about to go pressure high ground to get the Sojourn off the high ground, which is, yes, good. I'm just speeding up to that point. Yeah, right about here. So MCATS is jumping up ulting. They've rotated as a group here. Normally, if let's ignore MCAT's ulting here for a second. Like he's off screen over there. Normally, I'd go this way as poke. Uh, but MCAT's using his ult in this manner actually gives us an opening, and we're about to see that. Forces the Sojourn out. They've all turned this way to look at the Sojourn. What this allows us to do is instead of going around, we can just walk at them. They also use Lamp here, which we immediately destroy. This was a good thought by Zenio. Forces Bastion 1, breaks shield down a bit, breaks the Lamp. Uh, Overall, pretty good shout to do. We burn the Rhine before he can use Slam. Normally, I'd say this was a questionable trance. I looked at it in my previous videos and a little off. The reason he tranced here is because he was half and the Sojourn ults and is looking directly at him. If he doesn't ult, he's dead. I prefer him to ult to keep himself alive here. Now, that's not necessarily needed because they only have 3 people alive. We have... Actually, I do take that back. It is kind of necessary because now we have a man advantage against them. And no one else dies to this Sojourn ult.
Hold on, I want to check something. Because ideally, you do not
Breaks
want to
shield
have
down
to
a
use
bit,
strength there
breaks
because we
the
use
lamp.
3 ults.
Overall, pretty good shout to
See,
do. We burn the Rhine before
Semblance,
he...
in order to save, he could have easily saved Trans if he was playing over with us against Semblance. You gotta play that team. If you play with us, you don't have to use Trank. You don't have to Trank their overclock. And we would have Trank for next fight, which would have helped us win. And I think we actually would have won the map if we had Trank next fight. And even if you somehow do get low, I'd still have Lamp in this case. So yes, in this situation it's necessary, but at the same time it's not. And even if he doesn't use Trank, I'd still rather him not use Trank and die because they don't have a BAP. We have we have a BAP and we'll have more healing. They don't have a tank or a BAP. They only have 2 DPS and a Lucio. They're gonna back up anyway, even if we don't use Trank. You can see the Bastion's already getting shot at by MCATs. Um, so I don't know. I don't think he should use strength there, even in that situation. Each people could have their own different opinions. That's just my personal opinion. Um, because if he kills Semblance, then everyone else is in a safe position. You can see him, Cats is safe, Neo safe, I'm safe, and we just re-engage. We put a shield up, and the um overclock's useless. So I think he could have saved Trance there and just come back from spawn with Zinnia.
can use Slam. Normally, I'd say this was a questionable trance. I looked at it in my... This
Because now we
part's
have no
not
ult at this
necessarily
point. They have
important.
window,
Okay.
and they just win with window.
Again, this part, really, 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 really good. We already back up to that corner again, which is what we should do. Sorry if I sound distracted. I have like stuff to do in a little bit, so I have to check and keep track of the time. But okay, we're already holding. That's a horrible angle. I need to go higher. Okay, here we go. We're already holding back here. This is good. MCAT's playing up here. Will turn out to be aggressive, but it works. They can't. He can actually, when they get here, he can just slightly walk backwards, and he's completely out of their LOS. He's fine up there. Now, we know they have window here. Wow, they take forever to get here. Okay. There, they swap Sig. So we note this. The reason I am now playing a little more forward is because we're playing a mirror comp now. And I'm Himothy on Sigma, but also they're no longer on Lucio. So they no longer have that speed uh, advantage. So I feel a little bit more comfortable holding in this area where both of my supports can easily have a LOS on me or have LOS on me, and I can be a little more aggressive here. I do make a mistake in this fight, which I am going to point out. I am not. I am mortal. I fuck up. Uh, but here's what's about to happen. We know they have window. I remember us calling it. Window gets popped right there. Now, this is something I'd like to mention for Willie or whoever really plays BAP for us. You can put lamps or windows uh, like I know you know this, but way ahead of where you are. Sometimes in competitive play, that is actually or an organized competitive play, that is actually a lot better to do because if he were to just window here, the only people that would be benefiting from it would be both supports, which, yes, in this case, would still be a threat, being BAP Zen. As you can see, I'm discorded. A note for whoever plays Zen: have their tank discorded consistently. It's just beneficial.
That's also true, yes, with the BAP thing, except for if the enemy team is playing rush and you aren't. Because let's say we're playing rush here, which maybe this BAP doesn't do this if we aren't, but he puts a window here. I just call amp and we amp past it and go into them. That's the only situation where you don't put a window ahead of you.
The tank dies faster.
Which, if you notice, for when I've been playing BAP, I put windows a little bit ahead of me, not too much. Um, just because of where I think they are in LS. Like on, was it Servasa? I put windows right at my feet because all of us were playing together, and they either countered windowed at their feet, and what was I gonna say? They either countered windowed at their feet, or we got picks from that. Because if you put it too far up, then not everyone will be able to um, shoot through it in time. It also gives you a better element of surprise. You put far up, bullets take longer to travel through there. Um, if you're not playing hit scan, so it gives you more element of surprise if you put it closer. But yeah, in general, it's better to put it
It's basically you
up close,
discord tank. You
because
don't
you
see
take
it,
space with
but
it.
a tank's chunk of health is just gone because of how Discord works. And I know they've reworked it a bit, so obviously it changes. I'm just giving general ideas. We like to Discord tanks. It's not
I agree with the
always
Discord thing
applicable
too. Yeah.
though. Okay, so here we go. I'm eating, so our team can back up. This is another example of Semblance not playing a corner, which again, I am not flaming anyone, but in this case, just stick to this corner because all they have is a Sojourn pushing height, which MCATS is easily going to be able to look at and distract them. What ends up happening is Semblance, you have a little too wide of an angle. My eat ends, and you're almost dead. We keep you alive, which is really
Can I
good.
lamp here?
Uh, and remember, we played this very well, especially against Poke. It's constantly about. It's going to be a constant cycle of teams rotating these ways. Um, it's the washer, but let's see what happens. MCATs, this was a little aggressive, but as I said earlier, this is fine. You can literally just back up a little bit. So this was good by us because we notice, unlike last time, that their sojourn was here. So we actually backed up. And Zenio, like, I wouldn't prefer you take this angle, but I do understand why you did. You stay alive. You actually stay in the fight, which is surprising. We lamp this. Everyone lives, which is why lamp is a little interesting with Bastional. But we all live. This Sojourn is back. Okay, so Semblance, this is good. You've recognized the Sojourn is back. You are trying to back up. At least I think you're trying to back up. Let's see. Kind of. Okay, you juke around a little bit, and MCATS is able to jump up and pressure that DPS player, and now we're on mission Keep Willie alive. Sadly, MCATS dies uh, during that, and that's kind of the start of our downfall. This is where I fuck up, and I want to make a huge note of this because this mistake is totally on me. Um, there is no point for me to try and start rotating us towards them if we're already down one. Now, I do know we're kind of pinned, but obviously I'd rather rotate this way because both supports are here than stare down an ulting or an in turret bastion. What ends up happening is I go all the way here, I abandon you guys. Their supports walk up because they realize you guys don't have a tank. I get a flux. It doesn't really matter. Zenio's dead, and that's that. Yep, Semblance is gonna fall here, and then Willie's gonna fall here. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I think I've gone over it. I hope this has helped. If Willie or if you guys think this is helpful, I will keep doing these. But yeah, the reason or not the reason, but the reason that last fight we lost it so heavily was because I swung way too far out, and this is a note I make for all of our tank players. Don't do that. I made a mistake.
Also, going back to that similar strength thing, if we have Trank there, I think we swing that fight there for obvious reasons because we could Trank through there. All that damage we took, I saved like 4 people. I got 4 saves with that lamp, and then after once the lamp was broken, we all had like 0 health. So we just end up. We do stabilize a bit, but MCAS goes down, and then he goes to take their own way. So I think if we have Trank there, it's a bit better
In the
situation.
minute, it's
But yeah,
fine. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again, but I'm still gonna hold myself accountable for that. But I hope this was helpful. I will see you guys tonight for our practice.
Streamlabs OBS. Oh well. Yeah, I think pretty much everything that he said was good except for what I commented on. So there's that.